Unit 8, Lesson 5. By the way, this is your final lesson of the course. Woohoo! Surface area and volume of a sphere, part 1. So, our final shape of the unit is a sphere. So we'll be looking at the surface area and volume formulas for this shape. So the first formula that we are going to look at is the surface area of a sphere. So its surface area is equal to 4 pi r squared. So r is the only quantity that we need to get. So let's look at our picture here. So again, we always begin with our formula. So SA is equal to 4 pi r squared. And I go to my picture, 8 centimeters is already posted in our form. I don't have the diameter, I don't have to divide anything by 2. And then I'm just using my formula, starting to plug in my numbers. So the 4 stays put, 3.14 for pi. R squared is 8 centimeters squared. SA is 4 times 3.14 times 64. 803.84 is my answer. So I want to round it to the nearest tenth. So 803.8 centimeters squared. And that's it. All right, next one. Oh, one thing I should mention. If you are pressing the pi button on your calculator, your answer might be slightly different. It should be around this, like maybe the rounding is different, like maybe you got 8.04 point something. Just keep in mind that if you are using the pi button, it's a slightly longer number than 3.14, but you're still doing it correctly. All right, next one, we're going to do surface area is equal to 4 pi r squared, where 9 centimeters is our radius. So surface area equals. So the next step, I want to see you putting in the numbers. So 4 times 3.14 times the radius, which is 9 centimeters, and that is squared. And then you can do the rest in 2 steps, or you can just do it in 1. Just make sure that you are squaring only the 9. So that would be 4 times 3.14 times 81. I'm not saying times 9 and then square it. You have to actually square it in your head. So if you don't know how to do that in your head, which you should, but if you don't, then do it in 2 steps. So then I get 1017.36. So I'm going to round that to 0.4, and that is centimeters squared. All right, next examples, we have to find the radius. So our radius is our unknown, and we're given the surface area, so we have to work backwards. So always begin with your formula. So surface area equals 4 pi r squared. In this case, we are given the surface area. So this number is going to go right there. So 452.4 equals 4 pi r squared. We want to get r by itself. So what we have to do is get rid of this 4 pi. So if you remember from unit, I don't even remember, maybe it was unit 2 or 3. If you want to get rid of numbers in front of a variable, you have to divide. So we want to divide this side by 4 pi, and whatever we do to the right side, we have to do to the left side. So this cancels out. So I'm just going to rewrite it so that the r is on the other side. And then this is 452.4. Oops, I forgot to write centimeters squared. And then this is going to get divided by 4 pi. So 4 times 3.14 is 12.56. So this is just 4 times 3.14. So I need it like this. So r squared is equal to 452.4 centimeters squared divided by 12.56. So I'm just going to divide these two numbers out. So 252.4 divided by 12.56 is equal to 36. And I still have the centimeters squared here. I want r by itself, so I have to square root both sides. So the square root of r squared is equal to the square root of 36 centimeters squared. And for those of you that can see square roots really quickly, you can see that r is equal to 6 centimeters. So the radius of the circle is 6 centimeters. Okay, let's do one more example before we move on to volume. So we begin with surface area equals 4 pi r squared. We are looking for our radius. We have our surface area. Now, this surface area of 452.4 gave us a radius of 6. This surface area is 201, so that means that when we are getting our answer, it should be smaller than 6. So if you get a number that's larger than 6, then you know you've done something wrong. Now, what you could do is press pause right now, and then you can see if you can do it on your own, and then double check your answer using the video. So surface area is equal to 201.1 centimeters squared equals 4 pi r squared, where r's are unknown. We want to get rid of the 4 pi. So we divide both sides by 4 pi. And I'm just doing the exact same steps that I did before. You can follow along on this one. I like my variable on the left, so I'm just switching their sides. So this still is 201.1 centimeters squared, and then 4 pi is 12.56. So this is going to give me 201.1 divided by 12.56, which is 16 centimeters squared. So I take the square root of r squared, square root 16 centimeters squared, and the square root of 16 is 4, and I'm left with centimeters. So the radius is 4 centimeters.